Hello and welcome to a very special review today. Today, they're very rare on this channel. Well, this is the 8th one at least. We're talking about a Primarch review today. Specifically, Corvus Corax, the Primarch of the Raven Guard Legion for Warhammer The Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. Now, one of these models will cost you £94, and I will go through many points and reasons why he costs as much as he does. Now, when I picked him up and unboxed him at the beginning of the year, he cost £90. I think when he was first released, he was probably about 70 something. So he's gone up a little bit over the years. But if you've got lots of Mark 6, or you like Raven Guard, or you collect Raven Guard, then he is the must-buy centerpiece for your Raven Guard Space Marine army. The format of this video is as usual. I will have a look at Corvus up close, look at all the details and things, explain how easy, how difficult he was to build. Then there are no spare parts. What you see is what you get. You're not going to have anything left over with him, as per most of the character models in the series. Then I will go through some size comparisons, firstly with some Raven Guard minis, and then with a number of standard Space Marine miniatures. So here he is on his Scenic base, and like most, if not all, Primarchs, it's a combination Scenic and individual base. And what I mean by that, being a combi base, is that you've got this Scenic base here, which showcases the Primarch in a really cool pose, or doing something, you know, Rogaldor notwithstanding, or even Lorgar. In this case, the Raven Guard is shooting into the chest with one of his pistols. That could be any traitor Space Marine, really. There's no like markings on him and things, so you could paint him whichever colour you wish. I think I'm probably going to paint him Sons of Horus rather than Death Guard. I'm not sure, haven't decided. But yeah, if we have a look at the detail on this Scenic base, absolutely incredible. I love how this Space Marine is just caught in the crossfire of Corvus, because let's face it, you know, they have no chance against these Primarchs. He's taken a shot through the chest there. His bolt pistol is just limp at his side. His chainsword is about to drop. I like how, I think it's Simon Egan, forgive me if I'm wrong, how the sculpt allows for the Space Marine to kind of be holding the chainsword in a way, like it's dropping. I think that's a really, really cool action pose that they've gone for. If you look at the rest of the base, you've got lots of rubble and ironwork and things on there. Yeah, it's going to be lovely to paint and to get all of that detail fleshed out. Look at all the tiles and the rivets, and yeah, very, very cool how Corvus is just skidding into this masonry while shooting this Space Marine. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, I'll tell you what I mean by the combi base. So I haven't put any magnets in this yet. I definitely would advise you to, because it's not going to stay in there securely. Luckily, it's quite straightforward to magnetize it. I would put one small magnet potentially there, and also there, so you've got 2 points of contact, both high and low, and that should secure it in place. That's what I do with a lot of the other Primarchs. I'll go through size comparisons with all of them with Corvus. That's one thing I forgot to mention earlier. And then if you just remove him from this Scenic base, you've got his standard character base, which kind of works, you know. He's a bit off-center, but him leading your Dark Furies or whatever on the battlefield, it doesn't really take up that much room, you know, for something that has big wings and things. Let's have a look at the detail though. So firstly, look at his armor. It's absolutely incredible. There's so much detail there. There's lightning, there's Raven Guard symbols. I like the, I guess, boxiness of the chest plate. with that raven on there, and then you've got the, you know, X1X symbol, so the 19th Legion. You've got the studs on both of the thigh armour plates. I like the angular parts of his boots. You've got one of his pistols. He's got two. If you look at his face, like on Games Workshop's web store, the face looks awful. I don't know why. Maybe something to do with the lighting or the highlighting, but here in the flesh his face looks absolutely fine, and I'm sure you'll do a great job. That's the one thing I was a bit concerned about, how his face looked. But yeah, if you can see his vambraces, quite thick vambraces, and the reason being is because unlike lightning claws, where the fist, where the actual claws themselves come out the fingertips, his lightning claws sheathe out, a little bit like Wolverine's, I guess. And so they're unsheathed there, but these ones are... So these ones are sheathed at the moment, I guess, because they're further up his arm, but these ones are unsheathed, and that gives him an extra sort of length, I guess, when he's swiping with things. And also, he keeps his articulation and his dexterity by not having the claws extend out of his fingertips. So it's a very, very cool design. You've also got a little icon there and a couple of tassets. You've got his whip. I think it's like the lasso of truth or whatever, must be. And then he's got another pistol, so he can dual wield with these pistols. I always found it a bit odd that he's got his pistol in this hand and then he's got a pistol. So I guess this pistol would probably affix the other side, and then he can like draw his pistol the opposite way, which is cool. And then look at those wings. They're cool wings, don't get me wrong. And I like the kind of mechanical look to them. In that he's not trying to be sanguineous at all, doesn't have any fake feathers or anything like that. It is purely an extension of this three thruster jetpack, which must be pretty cool and powerful. And then final points to make is just on his armour, on his shoulder pauldrons. You've got a little Raven Guard symbol there, and then on the other side you've got some studs, and I like all the intricacies, if you can see that there, of his sort of neck seals and things. There's some icons and things like that. If you look at those jet thrusters, look at those, you can see the detail in there as well. Very, very cool. So lots of detail on this model, a lot to take in. Like all the Primarchs, you know, they're just brimming with detail, and you keep looking back at these models and you think, oh, how have I missed that? That's a nice little touch, which is great about them. Speaking of which, that kind of moves me into some size comparisons, and I will give you the size comparisons now with other Primarchs. So I know you'd like me to show you another winged Primarch, I guess, and the obvious choice, well, the only choice really, I guess, is Sanguinius. Now, I would say Sanguinius has more detail on him and the base and things than Corax, but Sanguinius does have more options in terms of like the sword instead of the spear, you know, and the base is, I say, bigger. I think the actual scenic part of the base, and the fact that it's got a demon on there. But if you wanted to just see how they measure up, there's not that much in it. I would say Sanguinius, I think Sanguinius's wings are bigger, but I think his armour is slimmer, definitely more streamlined, but there is more going on, I would say, just on his armour. You know, but these are both really cool winged Primarchs, absolutely fantastic. And again, look, you can see what I mean by the magnetisation. That is magnetised, it's not really going anywhere, whereas this needs to be, as this will keep reminding me. So that's where he sort of flies next to Sanguinius. Next to my own Primarch, Lionel Johnson, right here. He is going to be taller than him, you know, in terms of like height-wise. Model-wise, I'd say Lionel Johnson's a bit taller. just a bit. It's hard to sort of judge from the pose, but definitely bulkier and just bigger. The line is similar sort of scene, really. Lion L. Johnson going up against a Night Lord. The thing is, though, there's a number of Night Lords that are just you know, on the base there compared to Corvus. And then Jagatai Khan right here. Yeah, I would probably say Jagatai is just a little bit bigger as well than Corvus, but not much in it. I do have a selection of Heretic Primarch, so we'll start off with the tallest, the largest, and Magnus is almost as tall as Corvus, and he doesn't even fly. Or maybe he does, kind of, yeah. Well, yeah, Magnus is, like, his horns are taller than Corvus, and his head is almost as tall as Corvus, you know, standing on these rocks, and, you know, his feet probably go about there, so almost the same height. Such a huge Primarch. Lorgar is pretty small though, probably one of the smallest Primarchs. He is, I would say he's actually smaller than Corvus as well, so poor old word bearers. And then we've got the big man himself, of which this whole series is named, Horus Lupercal, right here. What an absolute giant of a mini, and he is definitely way bigger. You know, trying to put them on the same level there. He's, yeah, good couple of feet taller than Corvus. So pretty big mini, that one. So I hope those size comparisons have helped. They pretty much cost about £600 to give you those comparisons there. So any support is hugely welcome. And I'd love to give you more size comparisons with other Primarchs, definitely, such as Fulgrim. Other size comparisons then, with some Raven Guard minis, we have, you know, Legion specific. We've got the Furies, Dark Furies, and the Mordathan. They're going to go well with Corvus, of course. He is their Primarch after all. We've also got a Raven Guard Contemptor Dreadnought, gives you an idea of sort of like size. And then other Horus Heresy minis such as Mark III, which doesn't really go well with Raven Guard, I don't think, but Mark VIs definitely do. So if you like the Mark VIs and you're looking for a Legion that really works well with this armor type, Raven Guard and the beaky helmets and things work extremely well with the Legion. Final comparison I like to make is just with some standard 40k minis. So we've got a Firstborn Space Marine here, and then a Primaris, and then we've got Slimarbo. Just gives you an idea of where he sort of stands. He's, you know, a fair bit taller than a Primaris, like good 2 or 3 feet taller. I would say at least 2 or 3 feet taller than a Primaris. So there you go. That's where he stands up next to standard units. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for Corvus Corax, Primarch of the Raven Guard. You'll find him in your Liber Astartes Loyalist Legiones Astartes army book. He's Primarch of the 19th Legion, so they are at the back of the book. Dare I say his unit type is Primarch, and he will cost you 440 points. His stat line reads, he's a movement of 8 inches, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, wound 6, initiative 7, 7 attacks, leadership 10, and a save of 2+. It might be a little bit unfair to compare him with Sanguinius, but Sanguinius can fly, so I will. They both have the same movement speed at 8 inches, but Sanguinius's weapon skill is a little bit better at 8 instead of 7. But they do share the same ballistic skill, strength, toughness, and wounds with each other. It's just that Corax is, I say, a little bit quicker with initiative 7 and has more attacks. But their leadership and their save is the same. War gear of Corax. He has the sable armour, panoply of the Raven Lord, the Corvidine pinions, wrath and justice, frag grenades. Special rules: Legiones Astartes Raven Guard, Master of the Legion, hit and run, deep strike, the Shadow Lord, Loyalist, Warlord, Sire of the Raven Guard. So the sable armour. It provides a 2+ armour save and a 4+ invulnerable save, and grants a shrouded 4+ special rule. It's alright. You know, 2+ normal, 4+ invulnerable. Yeah, it'd be nice to have, you know, 3+ invulnerable, of course. The Shadowed Lord. If Corvus Corax chooses to use the hit and run special rule, the controlling player rolls an additional dice when determining the distance moved and discards any one dice of that player's choice before determining the final result. In addition, the controlling player may re-roll all failed shrouded rolls of a 1 made for Corvus Corax and all models in any unit he has joined after using the hit and run special rule to remove Corvus Corax from an ongoing combat. This effect continues until the start of the controlling player's next turn. The Panoply of the Raven Lord. It's a single weapon armed with the following profile. So this is his lightning claws, basically. Strength of the user, which will only be 6. It's AP 2, melee, shred, blind, fighting style, two-handed. Now, he's got this rule called fighting style. At the beginning of each assault phase, Corvus Corax's controlling player may choose one of the following special rules to apply to his attacks based upon the weapons and fighting style he's employing. Murderous Strike 4+, Rage 4, or Sudden Strike 3. Pretty nice. Wrath and Justice. Basically his pistols. They're a range of 12 inches, so they're just normal pistol range weapons. Strength 6, AP 4, Pistol 1, Rending 3+, Deflagrate and Mastercrafted. It's not too bad. The Corvidine Pinions. Now these Corvidine Pinions are basically his amazing like wings and jetpack. At the start of the controlling player's movement phase or when deployed as part of a deep strike assault, Corvus Corax's movement characteristic may be set to a value of 14 for the duration of the controlling player's turn. This is referred to as activating this special rule. It allows him to move up to 14 inches regardless of the movement characteristic shown on his profile and gain any other benefits of a movement characteristic of 14 and gain any other benefits of a movement characteristic of 14. In addition, he may also move over impassable terrain, vertical terrain, friendly and enemy models without any penalty on any turn in which the Corvidine Pinions have been activated. May not end his movement in impassable terrain or within 1 inch of any model from a unit Corvus Corax is not part of. He automatically passes dangerous terrain tests he's called upon to make if he begins his movement or a charge in dangerous terrain. He may still run on a turn when the Corvidine Pinions have been activated. When making a run move, after having activated the Corvidine Pinions, add Corvus Corax's initiative characteristic to 14 to determine how far he may move. Ignoring terrain and other models when making a run move with the Corvidine Pinions activated as noted above, but may not make shooting attacks or declare charge in the same turn in which Corvus Corax has run as per the normal rules for running. They may not be activated to gain a bonus for Corvus Corax's movement characteristic during a reaction. Now, Warlord traits then. So Sire of the Raven Guard, he automatically has the Sire of the Raven Guard. So Sire of the Raven Guard, all models with the Legionaries Astartes Raven Guard special rule and either the infantry or cavalry unit types in the same army as Corvus gain the Scout and Crusader special rules. In addition, an army with Corvus Corax gains an additional reaction in the opposing player's movement phase as long as Corvus Corax has not been removed as a casualty. It's pretty nice, you gain that additional reaction in your movement phase. He's alright. I mean, he's not the best Primarch to take. He's very fast, you know, he's one of the fastest Primarchs in terms of initiative and straight up speed. It's just he doesn't have as decent weapons as Sanguinius. In terms of Sanguinius does have that Spear of Telesto, the Moonsilver Blade and the Blade in Carmine, as well as Infernus, which, you know, is a 2-shot 18-inch range melter armorbane weapon. And his save is arguably better as well. Same 2+ and then 4+ invulnerable, but he can re-roll those invulnerable saves if he charges, whereas the Sable Armour, you get the shrouded 4+. Nonetheless, I think he goes fantastically well with the rest of the Raven Guard force, and is still a very good looking miniature. What do you guys think of Corvus Corax? The model, the rules? Do you think they could add any more to him? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.